It's definitely very important for the community to know a little bit more about our candidates for these next elections, the sheriffs. You guys have a very important function and opportunity to do those important questions, what the community needs to know. Vamos a estar haciendo esto con todo gusto para conocer a nuestros candidatos a sheriff. Igualmente, el trabajo que tiene el panel va a ser bien importante de hacer las preguntas necesarias para que la gente sepa lo que ellos tienen para la comunidad.
Thank you very much, and we want to say thank you to Havana Jax, because Havana Jax has contributed this place for us to be able to hold this event. Also, I want you to know that Patricia Brition is going to be one of the panelists. She represents Naughty Jax. Okay, Vince Cancedo, Planet Home Lending. Máximo Núñez, Maxi Tax. Mario Contigo en la comunidad. Okay. Milton Ramos, Restaurant El Señor. Yamin Galaraza, Realtor. Johnny Mendez, Restaurant Sí Señor. Gregorio Dixon, Lawyer. Okay? So now we're going to ask our candidates who are running for sheriff to introduce themselves, and they will have 1 minute to explain their platform to us. Mr. Collins?
Try this for 1 minute. Good little beggar. How's everyone doing this evening? Oh, come on, folks. How are you doing this evening? My name is Dr. Tony Cummings. I'm a 28-year law enforcement veteran and a lifelong native of Jacksonville, Florida. I have a doctoral degree in organizational leadership, a master's degree in organizational management, a bachelor's degree in business administration, associate's degree in criminal justice. I'm an old U.S. Army guy where I served with the U.S. State Department and held a top secret clearance prior to joining the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. Well, I recently retired from the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office in 2018 after my first run for sheriff in 2015. I'm married to my lovely wife, Dr. Andrea Cummings. She's in here somewhere. And I have 2 daughters. One's currently a junior in college and the other is serving the U.S. Air Force abroad. Real quick, I'd like to share with you the problem that we're dealing with in Jacksonville is that we're hemorrhaging from violent crime yet another year in a row. We've had back-to-back records, which I'm going to share with you during the course of this here evening. We've had, we're 6th in the nation in traffic homicides, folks. We had over 100 shootings three consecutive years in a row. Okay, we've had time. Okay. I'll share all that with you, but I look forward to talking to you this evening. I'm Dr. Tony Cummings. Thank you for your support.
So you're the time people? Okay. Wait a minute. 10 seconds. Okay. Hello, everyone. I want to thank you all for allowing us this opportunity to come and share some things with us. Unfortunately, I think we all have to be expeditious with everything that we're doing. But my name is Ken Jefferson. I'm a lifelong resident here in Duval County, born and raised here, educated through the public schools. I had the honor and the privilege of serving for over 24 years with the Jackson Sheriff's Office. And in those 24 years, I served as a patrol officer, an academy staff instructor, administrative detective, a burglary detective, sex crime detective, police recruiter, federal program director, public information officer, and a crime prevention officer. I had the honor and the privilege of leading a federal program that gained national attention when it dealt with our youth. And I look forward to your questions tonight very briefly, because our youth is a staple of our community. If we don't start acting or having things and programs readily available for them, we're going to continue to see the crime rate continue to rise. We have to start with our youth. We have to start with our displaced individuals, and I will be addressing violent crime as well in our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, and thank you for hosting this. My name is Lakeisha Burton, and I want to be your next sheriff. It's time for change. Public safety is the #1 concern of citizens all over our city, and it should be, because for decades, violent crime has been on the rise. Last year, when our city, after decades of violent crime, we saw a 4% reduction in crime. As a zone commander of this area right here, I had a double-digit record-breaking compared to any other area of this city, because I knew what to do. I earned my master's degree in criminal justice. I earned every rank available in the agency, sergeant, lieutenant. I earned my master's degree, like I said. I was the executive director over the Police Athletic League. The sheriff recognized my strong leadership capabilities and appointed me as a assistant chief. So I did 2 years over our community engagement unit and 2 years over as a zone commander. And I'll just wait, my time is up. It go by so quick.
First question for our panelists. Vincent, do you want to do it? Go ahead.
Hello. Yes, thank you guys for taking time out of your day. We know you have a busy schedule. My name is Vince Casito, and I have a question that is provided by Vanessa Oliveras. And her question is that it seems that violence is no longer in certain neighborhoods, and it's spreading all over our city. With a growing community and possible low resources, if you're elected sheriff, how would you handle this?
That's an excellent question. Let me first start by saying there's a difference between crime and violent crime, folks. All right? If someone steals your lawnmower or your bicycle, you're probably going to replace that. You'll be a little upset. But if someone kills your loved one, that's a life-altering event, folks. And the city is hemorrhaging from violent crime. It's what we're dealing with. Now, I propose, since it's spreading all over the city, and it's been spreading for some years now, we're going to have to get serious about tackling this issue. And a public accountability office inside the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office will go a long way to making sure we direct those resources and put them in the proper place where they need to be. With that public oversight and accountability to the sheriff and his administration, we can do that. As it stands, 650 of your officers, the ones that you pay for, equip, give a vehicle to, millions of dollars are being outsourced to the surrounding counties. And then, is that it? 10 seconds, okay. Well, to the surrounding counties. I'll go into that a little bit later, but nonetheless, we need to bring those resources back to the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office in Duval County so we can make the streets safer.
So just for clarification, I will raise this 10 seconds for you to, end.
While serving as the public information officer or the spokesman for the department, as well as serving as the crime and safety expert for News for Jackson, Action News, I always made it a point to tell the community that crime has a propensity to take on feet and move. Places that you've never heard of or seen various crimes, violent crime happening, has taken on feet and is moving. It never stays the same. No matter where you live in Duval County, if a crime occurs on the north side, it affects the south side, the west side, Arlington. It affects all of us, so we all are affected by it. As your sheriff, I will use and depend on intelligence-led data to drive me to the places where I need to go to address it. Be visible, be proactive, roll my sleeves up, be there with my officers, and let's drive that out of our community, out of our neighborhoods. That's the only way we're going to get a handle of it and try to prevent it from moving all over the city.
I'm the only candidate up here that has a proven record of reducing crime. My candidates are going to tell you what they plan to do, and I'm going to tell you what I've already done. The reason why we haven't been able to reduce crime all over the city is because our approach has been the wrong approach. We've been doing a lot of enforcement. We do that well, but enforcement, that means a crime has happened and we're being reactive. We have to start looking at this crime problem from a more comprehensive approach. Investing more in education, prevention, and in enforcement. When our Hispanic community were being targeted by robbers in the Arlington Beaches area, we got a plan together. And what we did, I got all of my Hispanic officers and we went out in these communities in plain clothes so we could bridge that gap and build trust. And when we did that, we were able to get information and intelligence about criminals in our city. That's what we have to do, build relationships so the community can work with JSO to get these criminals off our streets.
So I have another question. This is actually provided by Nancy. So her question is, with a growing population in the Hispanic community, we are a growing community. We're now over 13% in Jacksonville and the surrounding counties. How do you guys plan, if elected sheriff, to include us in your agenda and reconnect with our community?
Well, first things first, I want to bring you on board. I want your children to join the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. I've already proposed increasing minority hiring in the ranks of police officers, not corrections, okay, not probations and all that stuff. We're talking about police officers so that your children can see themselves in uniform, actually representing the Hispanic community as they should. One thing we're having with this issue with violent crime is you guys are being told to wait to hear from the sheriff. And I want to turn that narrative around. I want you guys to be up the hallway inside the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office with a body of your peers so that you can find out real information that you can push out to your community and use it in real time. Orlando's doing it, St. Petersburg's doing it, Tampa's doing it, Fort Myers doing it, Atlanta's doing it. Jacksonville, Florida can do it, folks. That's how you change crime in this community. And bringing that 1/3 of the force, the 650 officers, incentivize them to move back into your jurisdiction so they can protect your streets.
So I brought this out last week during the debate, and that's a great question. One of my responsibilities was working as an administrative detective, especially in an accreditation unit. And accreditation requires that your police department resembles the community that you serve. With that being said, that's a standard that has to be met by the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office in order to attain accreditation standards. And one of my duties as a recruiter was to go out and recruit the underutilized classes of people that the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office had at that time and still have today. We need to be totally inclusive with the way we hire people, with the races that we hire, the cultural differences of people that we hire, so that people from certain cultures can relate better. They can relate better. That was quick. I know it's 10 seconds, still, the 50 was quick. Thank you.
I just want to tell you that I see you. I've been working with this community for years. We got to get back to the point to where officers understand that it's not us against you, and it's us, we working together. So what I intend to do when I become the next sheriff is put together a strategic plan, recruiting plan, so we can make sure that we are recruiting diverse officers. It's important that our agency reflects our community, but also allow to expand our international affairs to make sure that we have representation for every culture that we serve in this community. And I also look to incentivize officers to go and learn other languages. So this is so very crucial. I saw this as a zone commander, that barrier. Already many of the people in the community have this distrust. There's a language barrier, so that was a priority for me. That is why in every apartment complex in the Arlington area that had mostly Hispanic residents, they had a liaison through one of my officers. So they would have somebody that they can trust and provide information to. Sorry.
First of all, once again, I want to say thank you to Havana Jax for allowing us to have the forum here. We have now, Mr. Clark has just joined us. So we're going to allow Mr. Clark 2 minutes to introduce his platform and then answer your last question, Vincent, okay?
Thank you, and I apologize for running late with the weather, and I was at another event, but I'm here. So thank you for having me here. So I am Wayne Clark, and I am running for Sheriff of Duval County. I talk about this race as being one of the most important races of our generation. Jacksonville is at a crossroad. We're at 1 million people in this city. We have real big city issues. We need to make sure that whoever we choose as sheriff is not a popular candidate, but a qualified candidate that has the experience to come in on day one and do the job as sheriff. We look around our city, we're facing some serious challenges when it comes to violent crime, when it comes to murder, when it comes to building trust in the community, when it comes with issues of diversity. We've got to make sure that our sheriff's office look like the community that we're in charge to protect. I'm born and raised here in Jacksonville. I did 30 years at the sheriff's office. I have every rank from a volunteer police officer to a corrections officer to a patrol officer, patrol sergeant, investigative sergeant, a lieutenant, zone commander in 2 zones, over the narcotics unit, over half the uniformed patrol officers, chief of the airport, chief of the school police, graduate of the FBI National Academy, I have my master's in public administration, But I also had the opportunity to lead a program from 2007 to 2010 to reduce murders and violent crime to a 25-year in Jacksonville, Operation Safe Streets. Very simple, we use data and real-time street intelligence to tell us who the bad guys were, where they hung out, and how to go and get them. So we look tonight to talk about some of the other issues in Jacksonville, how we can be one city, Somos Uno Jacksonville. We are one Jacksonville, so that we can move together and be one city of Jacksonville. I'm Wayne Clark, and I want to be your next sheriff. Thank you very much.
Vamos con la siguiente pregunta. Sí, la última pregunta is the last question.
So I'm going to ask the last question that I just asked right before you were here, and this question is provided by Nancy, and her question was: with a growing population in the Hispanic community, we're now over 13% in Jacksonville and the surrounding counties. How would you expect, if you were elected sheriff, how would you include our Hispanic community, and how would you plan on connecting with the Hispanic community here in the city of Jacksonville?
Absolutely. The Hispanic population in Duval County and Clay County together is there 13%, because I heard it was like 11 in Duval. Is that right? That's a lot of people. You are a significant part of our community. So we've got to make sure, because Jacksonville is about 47% minority population, and in 10 years it's estimated that Duval County will be a majority minority county when you add all the different minority groups together. We've got to do a better job of recruiting from all the different minority groups, because people need hope. When they want to see somebody that look like them and sound like them, if we're going to build trust and transparency about what we do. What I want to do is, by 2030, I want the sworn ranks of the sheriff's office to be at least 30% minority. Currently, when you look at African American minority in the sheriff's office, it's about 11%. It's about 15% total minority. But if we can do double that, to do 30%, 30 by 30 is what I plan to do from all the minorities in the city. Thank you.
Next, we're going to do the next question. Thank you.